But now because you've gone from first, because you've gone so high, that drop down feels so great only because it's going from so high.
Yeah.
But you're not, in your head, you convince yourself that you catastrophize it and that somehow you've lost everything, that you're useless, you're a failure. Oh my God, you're a bad dad. And you've got this. It's like, no, mate, you're in 10th place. Or you're in 15th, you're fine, mate. You're not in the relegation. But in your head, you think you're relegation zone.
If this is your concept, if you've come up with this, you need to patent it.
What is it? I've never heard of it before.
I love it.
I call it the positivity paradox. Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to an episode of the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you both mentally and physically become the best version of you. I'm your host, Daniel James, and with me, once again, I've got Mr. Mikey Markham. How are we?
On the bus, mate.
We're on the bus.
Yes.
So we've just come off the back of me going on to Mikey's podcast. So we've just recorded an hour and a half on Mikey's podcast, and now we're swapping the roles. And now, I just said to you, it's like, I've now got to remember that it's my podcast. Rather than you leading the conversation, it's like, I've kind of got to now step up.
I don't think we'll run out of energy though, man, after what we've just been through. I'm ready for it.
You say that, like I was walking to the thing, it's like a therapy session. Like I feel quite emotional. So
Yeah,
you're
true.
buzzing. You're like, I've got a great podcast episode. I'm there like a broken human. So yeah, you're buzzing energy. I'm there like
I've
a
rattled
therapy
him.
session. I think it's like when you came on, obviously I know you've been on my podcast quite a few times because like you're co-hosting it. But then it's quite interesting that some of the deep ones that we've had real deep ones on this thing. So it's like a therapy session for me.
Yeah, completely.
And like I said, the way that you run your podcast, again, it's kind of like how we do this here, like, but you just look like just free go with it, which is when me and you talk. I think that's where your forte is, where we just kind of have a rough conversation of where we're kind of going to go, and we just go with it. However, you didn't give me any sort of context. It's like, yeah, I just want to talk about you. It's like, great. So where's that going to go? So yeah.
And there's infinite possibilities with it as well when we get talking. Yeah. But I do just love listening and trying to pick out them little moments and opportunities of, we could go down this angle.
That's why when me and you talk on my podcast, it's like, Mikey, we need a topic of discussion. Yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to go off on like a million different tangents. Start off talking about one thing and then talk about spaceships and rabbits. And stuff, which makes no sense. But yeah, so that's why we're on Mikey's bus, if anyone was wondering. But how have you been? Been all right? Tumbleweed.
Can I put one of those in?
Just slowly driving across.
I've been all right, man, but it was a good segue anyway, what you just said then. We need a topic, and I suppose this is going on to today's topic a little, because I've not been my best self, no, definitely been feeling tired, mental fatigue, uncertainties, challenges in my life, being a business owner, being a good dad, being a partner with Chrissy, all of these aspects and areas. And when one plate falls or just feels like it's diminishing, I start making complications and compensations for stuff. So I've been in my mind a lot more than I have for a long time. That's where I've been predominantly, and then beating myself up a lot of the time. I don't feel at ease, so I've been sort of self-doubt and all these sort of things started to creep in a little bit, in honesty, man. Yeah,
the self-doubt is a big one.
Big.
I know that all too well. Like, we spoke about literally when we were just talking about it, like on my journey.
And that's why I was getting quite emotional in that podcast, is because it's really reflective of where I am in my life at the minute. And you just give me some beautiful, memories, but advice from it too, and it's sort of been hitting me at every angle.
Do you want to share with my audience what I've taught you?
Yeah. It's the attacking it head on was a big one for me, because I'm consciously aware I'm in this space, but I suppose I've been letting it play out. And there's something in what you were saying there, very much of the Dan James attitude, as I say, and deploy. No, you can't just let it come at you and be there. There's a balance in attacking it too. Finding out, what is it though? Where are you at? Why are you in this disrupt? What's happening to you? And going head on. What am I going to do about it though? And that for me was so apparent in who you've been all your life. And
it was interesting. Because I said, we literally, so again, obviously people won't have heard Mikey's podcast because it's not come out yet, and this will come out before Mikey's podcast comes out. But basically we went back and looked at every basic moment of my life, my timeline, didn't we, essentially? And then you were basically dissecting it, and basically that was a common theme, that whenever something came up, I just had this sort of way of
approaching it.
I was reading a book about it the other day and basically saying about how action just diminishes fear. So in life, if you're feeling fearful or uncertain, action actually destroys that.
I love it, man. I'm going to be a changed man again after all this. I'm fucking fine.
I've already had a conversation with your dad. Your dad's going to be like, what? Like, so before, like when we came here, so Mikey and his timekeeping, absolutely shocking. So I rocked up on time. Mikey was 35 minutes late to his own bus and his own farm. So I was talking to his dad. We're chatting away. Your dad's going to be like, what the hell have you done to my son the last 3 hours? He's come out of it, he's crying. And he's like a changed man.
Crying, laughing, jogging. Yeah. I'm excited, man. I feel a very necessary conversations have been had. But yeah, I think this is what we're talking about today, is realising it's a journey. Knowing a thing for us is, because we're giving out the information a lot and we're quite on our paths very strongly, that when shifts happen and we're riding these waves, and I feel when you're on that down, it's so alien at times. And I suppose I've seen myself as past myself. I've gone above being human for a minute. I was like, I feel in this great stead. Maybe I'm just going to plateau on this nice contentment for a while. But the downwards is part of the contentment, isn't it? It's realising it and being okay with it. And just because it's been so long since I've been there, I wasn't okay with it.
But it's like we spoke about again, I keep going back to that Jeanette podcast. In your podcast that we were just on, I was mentioning Jeanette's podcast. And again, I'm going to refer it back to it again. It's just sometimes everything's cyclical. It's like nature. And again, we spoke about it in some of the episodes I've done by myself. And I think the first time I alluded to it was when I came with that concept of the positivity paradox. Can you remember about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I think that's one of the biggest things here. It's like you when you're on a league table, for example. So imagine that a football league table is 20 teams in a league. In this example here we're using, and basically you spend, when you had bad mental health issues, you're basically in the relegation zone. So there's no real difference between being 18th, 19th, and 20th. You're still in the relegation zone. Every day is just a bit of a struggle. Then what happens is you then start to get to like 15th and 16th place and 14th place. You're like, oh, I'm out of the relegation zone now. It's like, okay, cool, this is nice. And you get used to that. But then what happens is you then start to get better and you start to level up, And then you find yourself up in 7th place, 8th place. And you're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. So let's just use, for analogy's sake, because I'm shocking at maths, let's say you get all the way up to 5th. So when you get to 5th, you feel like you're in top. So you're in European Championship position here. When you drop from 5th to 10th, that's a drop of 5 places. Or when you go from 5th to 15th, that's 10 places. That's 5 to 10. That's 10 places. So you go from 5th to 15th. So, but 15th is still better than when you were in 20th, 19th, and 18th. So you're not in the relegation anymore. You're actually 3 places above the relegation, 2 places above the relegation zone. You can see I struck my maths here. You get the point.
I love it.
So basically, the whole thing with this is, what's happened is you've gone from 5th to 15th, and you think you're back in the relegation zone. Yeah. But you're not.
Yeah.
And this is the positivity paradox that I basically talk about. And again, it's a concept that I think I've come up with, because the higher you go, it's not the fall that gets you. It's the places, the number of places that you drop, but you're still, when you get to that bottom place, you're still better off than you've been. So let's say, for example, you then get to 1st place. You're the best you've ever been, ever in a million years. You then go to 10th. 10th is still, if when you're in a relegation zone, or you just come out of the relegation zone, you'd have given an arm and a leg to be 10th.
Yeah.
But now, because you've gone from 1st, because you've gone so high, that drop down feels so great, only because it's going from so high.
Yeah.
But you're not, in your head, you convince yourself that you catastrophize it and that somehow you've lost everything, that you're useless, you're a failure. Oh my God, you're a bad dad. And you've got this. It's like, no, mate, you're in 10th place. Or you're in 15th, you're fine, mate. You're not in the relegation. But in your head, you think you're relegation zone.
If this is your concept, if you've come up with this, you need to patent it.
I've never heard of it before.
I love it.
I call it the positivity paradox.
That's
what I've called it. I don't know. I'm sure people have come up with it. I'm sure people have come up with it and they use. But I just use the football league analogy, because even if you don't follow football, you understand the concept of it.
The football league one's got me good. That was
you understand.
I was
you understand
listening to that, going, I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, you understand, and that's the thing. Because this is what I found. Again, what you're going through. I went through. The first time I went through it, I was like, why am I feeling so bad? Because I'm not feeling as bad as I used to feel. But I realised it's because I'd gone up so many levels.
Yeah.
And again, this thing. Every time you level up, you think you're invincible, and then reality is like, oh no, and again, because everything's cyclical. So this is the thing now for me. It's like, once I realise, and again, you got that awareness. So you had the awareness, and you're like, oh my God, is this my new set point? Like, whereas now, when I get to that place, I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this while it lasts, and hopefully it lasts for months. But in my head, I'm like, it's not going to last. Like, something's going to happen. But again, you're not preempting it. and you're not then living in a state of fear or worry. You just understand that is the universe.
Yeah.
It's just one of nature's laws. Nothing can last forever. So it's like, this is amazing. And you realise it because then you're like, oh, amazing. Because then what you're doing is then being more appreciative of it. Because if you're like, oh, this is my new baseline, you almost then take the foot off the gas and you don't really appreciate it. Whereas if you're like, this is going to go in a minute, you're like, oh, cool. But you start to enjoy it a bit more. I'm like, I'm just going to absorb it as soon as it comes. And then when the low comes, you're just like, oh, bloody hell. Right, here we go.
So
but it just changes you, like I said to you on that surfer analogy. You then just enjoy the way down. You're like, oh, damn it, okay, cool.
I actually prefer your football one, though, because it resonates with me. But what I need to respect is I'm basically West Ham at the minute.
There you go.
And I'm happy. I need to be happy being West Ham.
I don't think West Ham, you're probably Aston Villa. Aston Villa, because again, so you look at the current football team, again, not a bad team.
Yeah.
Just had a bit of unlucky results and there's been a bit of change going around. But you actually look at again, Premier League prime example, the difference between Villa that was in wherever they finished 14th and 8th, I think it was 3 points.
Yeah.
So look at all those spaces there. So right now you feel like you're in 14th, but mate, look, literally all you are is just one podcast away or one conversation away, and bam, you're back up to 8th, and that is how quickly it turns around. And people don't realise it. People don't realise it. All it takes is you just get that one little win for the day, and you go from 14th back to 8th again. Yes, you may not be back in 5th, but you're back in 8th again. And that's what I talk about, that concept of winning the day. It's just like, right, what can I do just to win the day today? Just win the day. Just do just one little thing. And cool. So again, just like in football, so you then win the day, then life throws you a curveball. So just like in real life football, you win a game, then the team below you has got a game in hand. Yeah. So there's nothing that you can do. Life just throws you a curveball, and before you know it, you've done nothing, but you've dropped down a place again.
Yeah.
Life just happens. And just understanding, this is where I've especially, and again, I know I've spoken about every single episode for the last 4 weeks, especially with all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes right now that's going on in my life. I've had some real deep, profound, philosophical, whatever you want to call it, moments with myself where I've had to understand a lot of these things to just accept it is what it is. And I talk about it all the time. But it's like, actually now, every time I level up, and I do level up, you go from one place to the next and you keep leveling up, every single time these things happen, I'm coming at them from a different angle of awareness to learn from it, if that makes sense. Completely. So now where I'm at, I'm just like, oh man, I'm learning so much from this thing, and I'm really learning a lot more about myself. And it's what's the word? It's very empowering and freeing when you realise that it's a journey.
And exhilarating,
It's this journey. It's understanding. I don't know if you've heard this song. I said to you before. I started to play it when we was at the gym. It's the last time. I don't think you enjoyed the song. So the song by Sigrid and Bring Me the Horizon. If you're struggling with mental health, I suggest you listen to that song and you get the words out at the same time. But basically the chorus of it is, it's just a bad day, not a bad life.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life, it's a bad day. Cool. So this too shall pass. It's not a bad day.
I like that.
So it's just a bad day, not a bad life.
Pass.
Yeah. And that again. And that song, and
the good and the bad.
That song, honestly, mate, that song, it's been so powerful for me in dealing with what I've had to go through. That's why I've almost been listening to it on repeat. Because especially when the guy from Bring Me the Horizon, Ollie Sykes, comes in, like his part is absolutely incredible when he talks about it's hard to find a place to hide when you're running from what's inside. No matter where you go, there you are. No matter so tonight I'll go to war with me because I'm my own worst enemy and I don't want to fight anymore.
Wow.
And you're just like, wow. Like literally, it's like, wow. It's like, that is literally what it's like being inside your own head. Yeah, you're trying to find a place to hide, but you're running from what's inside, and no matter where you go, there you are. Oh, so tonight I go to war with me because I'm my own worst enemy and I don't want to fight anymore.
I've just got a new playlist on my Spotify. Do you know you can make your own playlist? And mine's the conscious lyricism one.
Yeah, mate, that's all I listen to. I'll ping it in. So I'm very heavy into heavy metal and rock music. That's not because it's obviously Sigrid wrote it. But again, and this is the thing. So when Sigrid brought that to Bring Me the Horizon, Bring Me the Horizon said no, because we're not the same. But then they actually read the lyrics and they're like, wow. And again, the voice of Sigrid versus Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon. Oh, look, give me chills.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, you're going to get me emotional. That song, genuine, it's the power of music. I know you will relate to more than anyone. Like, the stuff that's gone on the last 4 weeks, that song genuinely has helped me stay on a level. Because it's like, Joe spoke about before when we were on BBC, about how Aaron, the host, was like, are you inside my own head? It's like, no, we're all the same.
Yeah.
So you've got Sigrid, who's a multi-million-pound Swedish woman, wherever she's from, never met me, nothing, and I'm literally looking at these lyrics like, wow, you know me. No, she doesn't know me, she just knows mental health, she gets it. And that's the thing. Like, we're all the same. Once you understand that, it's so, so powerful. So there's me going through this turbulent time, and I needed to hear that song, and I needed to hear those lyrics. And it is powerful. So talk about that. When I've got my gym playlist, people are like, you've got some random songs on there. But it's like, 'cause I listen to the lyrics. I listen to the words. I love words in songs. I absolutely love them because I'll start to sing along with them. When I'm training, I will start to sing the songs. And again, the words that I'm saying are empowering.
Yeah.
And most of them to do with mental health. So the song I Prevail Scars. I Prevail's the band. I Prevail. And things called Scars. Everybody's talking about wearing your scars.
Right. Okay. Oh, mate. With the
Unreal.
same. With the same in it. And I think, yeah, similar to me on why I've been making playlists on conscious lyricism is because I need affirmation. I need reminding people, don't matter if you're a multi-million-pound star or if you're on the level where I'm at, we're all going through it. And having these conversations today has just been that I spend a lot of time on my own. I really do. Is self-employed, trying to build the empire. You're just in this vortex, in this void of your own thoughts, your own being, and it's like a radiator that only emanates out and out. And the way that a radiator works is it bounces off of things. Do you know what I mean? For the heat to work, it needs to. Well, I think that's how it works, isn't it? It bounces off of the objects around it, and that heats the place.
Absorbs it.
And the same with me. When I've got thoughts and ideas, I need to bounce them through people. I'm just putting them out into the ether, and it's going into infinity. I don't know what to think at times. So, unless
but also with this, I think the biggest thing with this as well, hitting on this point, is with what we do when it comes to mental health mindset stuff, we give ourselves a harder time, I think, when we do go from 5th to 10th or 5th to 15th, because like we're meant to somehow know more.
Yeah.
And again, this is one of the biggest things. Like, again, for example, when we did that podcast, I get so confused because I see you so much on the BBC, on the radio.
Yeah.
When the news came out on the Tuesday, and then the Thursday I was there. That Thursday I was fine. It was then the Thursday after, or the 2 Thursdays after that, I was then driving along and I was thinking, I'm struggling mentally right now. Who am I to go on the radio and talk about mental health? This is as we were driving to it, but I thought, no, but this is the point. This is why I'm qualified to talk about mental health. And this is why what I've got to say is so powerful, and it has got some meaning, and people do need to hear it, because I'm at the place now I've got the awareness to know that I'm driving into the car crash, or my car's on fire, the bus is on fire, everyone, like, I know that it's on fire, but I'm now in the position where I know where the fire extinguishers are. I've got to get the fire extinguishers and put it out.
Yeah.
But I thought most people don't even know. They don't realise they're on a bus, they don't realise it's on fire, and they don't realise it's going to get worse unless they put the thing out. And that's what the awareness.
It's the willingness to be there and say...
And sit with it, because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like now, the position that you're in from doing all the courses with Paul Coleman stuff, like the position that now where you're questioning it and you haven't let it cripple you, like that is powerful. And every time you do it, you level up and you deal with it better.
And it's being vulnerable and showing people, listen, I have an idea of all these tools in my box and I've got answers there, but at times we can get complacent, and that's part of life.
Everyone does.
I'm here to tell you I'm vulnerable. I'm here to say you can be vulnerable too. And that's more equipped than anybody to be on a radio station or a podcast or whatever to go and talk about it when you're feeling it. And I think I love what you said. I've been Derby County before. Do you know when they got the lowest point score? That was it, 11 points in the Premier League. And I've definitely stayed crippled in there before. And you're so right. Working my way up that table to where I'm at now, and I've just not appreciated the wins. You know, I was talking on the last Thursday about financial stability on the radio, BBC with you. I'd never approached that in my life, finances. I never looked at them once. And me and Chrissy have sat there and gone, oh, we need to really turn into this. We can't bury our heads in the sand. And now we've got some financial stability there. And instead of me looking at that on the way down this wave or down the table, me going, I'm really proud that we managed to have a win there. I look way over the top of that and I'm like, yeah, but I da-da-da-da-da-da. And I beat myself up for all them things. So it's about perspective, isn't it? Yep. It's choosing back, going, yeah, but look at where you've come. Look at what you've done.
Yep. And again, that's the power of gratitude. So that's the thing for me when it comes to all my clients, I make sure they gratitude journal. So one of the most powerful things I teach clients is gratitude, because again, there's a quote from a monk, I can't remember what it is, what his name is, Benedict something, and I also can't remember the exact quote, but essentially he talks about how people think that happiness creates gratitude, and it's not. gratitude is the precursor to happiness. You have to be grateful in order to receive happiness. When people think that when they're happy they can be grateful, it's not. It's the other way around. Like you have to show gratitude first. You have to show gratitude for the little things, because happiness is the big thing. Gratitude is the little thing, and the little things are the big things.
Yeah.
So you have to show gratitude for the little things of what you've got. So then it builds up that momentum. So the little things build up as the compounding effect. So again, you just grateful for these little things. This little thing happens. Then the next thing, it builds up. And in the moment you're living, you're like, oh, this is absolutely amazing. You feel that power of gratitude. You feel this amazing stuff. And then the big thing comes, you're like, oh, wow, this feels absolutely incredible. Rather than expecting to somehow get this big thing that you're meant to be happy for, and then having that feeling just there.
Yeah.
And it's not. Like, again, there's an ability to be grateful for everything, no matter how dark your life gets. And this one, again, one of the biggest things that I turn to when I'm struggling is my journaling. But my journaling is essentially gratitude journaling with a thought-provoking question as well. Today I'm feeling, and then go into that, and then talk about gratitude as well. But the thing for me is with the gratitude, it's like that is one of the biggest things. It's like no matter where I am at in my life, no matter how dark it gets, I will always have something to be grateful for. And sometimes it's super, super hard. And you've got to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find something to be grateful for. But there's always something. And if you can just find that small grain of light in the darkness, then you're winning. And that's the thing, because there's always something there. Because it's really easy to focus on the darkness, because there's always darkness. Even if like the best day of your life, there's always darkness. But it's like if you just find that small grain of light and just focus on that small grain then becomes a bigger grain, then it's bigger. And that's the key thing with it. Like, that is the key thing. If you can understand like that you are the light that you're searching for. This is a quote. This is my quote. I've never said on the podcast or not before. When I did a lot of that deep work before, like years ago, how long was it now? 4 or 5 years ago. When I was on this deep course, it was really emotional. I basically came out with this quote out of nowhere, pulled it from the air. When you realise that you're the light that you've been searching for, you can never end up in darkness again. So again, understand that you as a person, you as an individual, like you have the ability to find this light. Yeah. You are the light you're searching for. So there's always things to be grateful for. So you are the light in that darkness. Once you realise that, you can never be in darkness again. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to be in darkness again. So again, one of the things I always go to, like I said on your podcast, is like when I'm struggling mentally and I realise I'm having a bit of a wobble, cold shower, journal, meditate, read.
Yeah.
The key fundamentals, like I said to you before, my morning routine, because of how I am now, I've had to start to tweak it, be a little more flexible and fluid. But it's like then sometimes I've got to double down on the journaling. Do it twice a day. Yeah. I'll do it once a day, but sometimes I've got to double down, do it twice a day. But just change what I'm journaling about. It's just like, again, it's having that awareness of like, what do I need? Do I need to go internally? Do I need to like, today I'm feeling? Do I need that? Or do I need the more gratitude stuff?
It's truly knowing yourself, isn't it? And knowing your needs.
Mate, it's hard and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. This is why, again, it was so powerful having Jeanette last week, the week before, talking about it, the energy required for me to go through what I've been going through. I didn't understand because I've been absolutely bollocksed. Absolutely unbelievably bollocks. It's only since in that podcast, which was 2 weeks ago, that I've actually started to feel more myself, because the energy that I was given, because again, it requires energy, and it's so hard to actually, especially when you're not feeling it, you've got to try and have the energy to, again, want to read, to want to do these things, to want to do that. Because again, even going back to cold shower, we spoke about on your podcast just then, like I do it every single morning to take control of my thoughts. And again, I let that slip because it requires energy for me to tell my little mind, the voice inside my head, to shut the fuck up. I just swore that. I'm not sworn a long time. Do you know why? It's because on your podcast I've been swearing. And on my podcast I've stopped to complete that beep. Pretend I didn't swear. It's just bizarre. On my podcast now I'm swearing. No, you're right. I don't really swear. But again, I said if it holds power. But again, I really don't swear a lot anymore, which again, hopefully people notice. Anyway, my point is, that requires so much energy to tell my voice to be like, the voice in my head, shut up, I'm in control, I'm taking control of the bus. When that bus is on fire, it's so hard to grab that steering wheel. It requires so much energy. And again, I didn't realise why I didn't have the energy. And then when Jeanette's just like, well, what you're going through requires just as much energy as this. I'm like, oh, that's why I've got no energy. But then it made me realise, because I was like, again, that whole thing of like, I should know better. I should I should be in control of this right now. I know this stuff. But it's like, no, this is a powerful thing you're dealing with. This is a hard thing. Like, you're going through something really, really tough right now, traumatic. I understand that is why you don't have the energy. I'm like, oh, right, that's why. It's not because I'm a failure. It's not because I've lost the ability to somehow take control of my thoughts. It's not because of all this stuff.
And it's nice that you were soft and gentle with yourself there, because a lot of people, and like myself included, beat themselves for beating themselves up, and it becomes this really vicious trap and cycle. Well,
Paul has taught me that about that, basically, like, no matter where you are, because again, I have done some beating myself up, but again, no matter where you are down that ladder of beating yourself up, when you notice it, stop and then be kind to yourself. Even if you've gone 10 conversations deep about how much of a horrible person you are, if you notice it on the 11th time you try and do it, like, oh, right, now I'm doing that thing again where I start to beat myself up. And
and
like, right,
you see
be
it
kind.
with people when they're eating, and they have that. You've said it last week on a podcast, but you eat one slice of pizza, and then it becomes the whole pizza, just because you're like, oh, I'm an idiot, I shouldn't have done that. I may as well just cave in now then. And it's just grabbing yourself at some point.
It's powerful. It's hard as well.
10 slices of pizza, even if it's 8, at least you stopped at 8.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Because again, the 8 becomes 7. 7 becomes 6, becomes 5, becomes 4, and people again, it's a real hard thing because again, I feel like in society, like we're always taught that everything's bad and everything's negative. And it's like, there's some real good things in everything. Like I feel like we're very, especially when we look at TV shows and stuff. It's like that whole thing of being a failure and like beating yourself up. Like we know how to beat ourselves up better than we know how to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? We're not really taught that, but you see it all the time in like TV shows and movies where you hear like the acting, but you hear the voice inside their head. Do you know what I mean? It's like I just feel like it's like very subtly like everyone knows how to beat themselves up, everyone, but no one knows how to actually be kind and gentle to themselves.
I like what you said as well about when you give gratitude, the byproduct becomes happiness and not the other way around. I heard of recent David Eames, our mate, he said something similar of people are always searching for memories. You want to make a memory, let's make a memory. But actually, how's about be really beautifully present in your moments in life and the byproduct becomes memories? Do you know what I mean? And that really struck a chord with me because I was thinking, I've not had crazy beautiful times recently that I can reflect back on, and my life was quite full of those moments. Can you remember when? But then I thought, well, maybe you've just completely overlooked them because you weren't present in them times. But if you go back to being present and really holding space, the memories are going to come back and you're going to be like, can you remember when we
because they're still always there, but when you're in the darkness, it's really hard to find them. And this is the thing when it comes to the gratitude. This is a powerful thing if you're doing it at the end of the day. 3 things I'm grateful for from today are, because then what you're doing, because again, in order to create a memory, you have to attach emotion behind it. So they're positive or negative emotion. So if then, let's say something's happened, amazing's happened, like right now this podcast. So right now you're just like, oh, God, it's amazing. But let's say you're in a really bad headspace still. So we've had this amazing podcast and you feel absolutely amazing, but you're just like, okay. But you just like your life's terrible and it's a misery. So you go to bed later on tonight and you're just like, right, oh God, but Dan says I've got to find 3 things that I'm grateful for. Then he's like, right, okay. So, actually, that podcast with Dan, that's quite cool. But then you sat there and like, okay, well, why was it cool? I was really cool actually because like it made Dan shared his journey and actually made me realise that I'm on the same sort of things. Actually, I'm not a loser and I'm not broken, and actually like everyone goes through the same thing. And then you sat there and then you actually feel that feeling of gratitude. I'm so grateful that I actually got to experience that moment with Dan. It was absolutely amazing. And actually, Dan got to speak to my dad as well. And that was really cool. Like all 3 of us in the thing. And then you start to go and you build this amazing thing. Like that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
How's that? Do you know what? That's amazing. You know what? I'm really grateful that actually I reached out to Dan a year ago and got him on my podcast. So straight away, you've then, before you've gone to bed, you've then gone back from this day and basically you've gone through, you dissected it, and you pulled out this one thing and you've attached all that powerful emotion behind it. And you then felt this was actually really powerful, but then you felt it, then you pop it back in there. Cool, and then you go into bed and you're also now full of that feeling. Because again, remember your thoughts create feelings. So then you've thought about it, you've then attached a feeling, you're now going to be feeling nice and comfortable. So then you're going to go to bed and your subconscious is going to be on a happy program rather than a negative program. And again, it's really hard to do. And this is where a lot of my clients struggle with this, like to try and elicit the feeling of gratitude. It's so hard to actually elicit that feeling of gratitude, to actually feel that feeling of gratitude. But here's the thing with this, like your brain is super lazy. So if every night before you go to bed, you're saying to your brain, listen, like you're going to have to come up with 3 things that we're grateful for today. What's going to happen is in that moment, you're going to be doing this and you're going to get like a little kick and your brain's going to be like, listen here, dickhead, like you're going to ask me about this later on today. Remember it right now because I'm not going to have to remind you later on today. Like feel it right now. So what happens is in the moment, you'll start to feel this amazing feeling. And again, this is why people call me the squirrel whisperer, because I used to be so present with squirrels. I love squirrels. And I used to write about squirrels. And then what happens, I see a squirrel and I feel amazing that I've seen a squirrel. But you feel it in the moment.
Yeah.
Because the brain is lazy. So it give you a jolt now, so when you go to the evening time, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this happened, rather than making it replay the whole day to find things. Because what you're saying, you're using the reticular activating system, which again is the body's filter, and you're saying gratitude and moments of gratitude are really, really important to me. Flag them up at every possible opportunity because they're important to me. Whereas what most people do is it's the negative. So their reticular activating system is looking at the negative. Why am I a failure?
Yeah.
Why have I fallen off track? And then all throughout the day, your brain will be like, oh, we fell off because of this.
Yeah.
Oh, listen here, bam, give you the same kick.
what you just
give you
did
the
then.
same kick, bam. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, this is why I'm a failure.
Yeah.
It's just the exact same thing. So what we're doing is you're using the brain's hardwiring against itself. And that's the power in that. So that's what you're doing. The brain's hardwired to do what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
So but
Be in
most of us,
control of it.
exactly. But most of us don't know how it works. It's like a computer.
Because of it, you've had some stressful times recently,
Oh,
and I remember you
mate.
saying it was on BBC where you said you've had one of the hardest times since your depression of your life of recent. Was there anything else that you've deployed in your life that helped you ride the wave smoother on the way down and out and up?
Bigger sense of purpose is a big thing. So especially when it first happened, I had to make sure my clients and coaches were okay. So that's the biggest thing for me, is like making sure they're all okay, because I didn't realise how bad it had affected me at the time, because I was like, right, it's about shifting. So for me, the biggest thing I've learned throughout this whole thing is my ability to shift, and people's ability to shift when things change, either positive or negative, your ability to shift in the moment. Because what happens is we stay fixed. And if you stay fixed, again, like a tree, if a tree's fixed, when the wind comes, it snaps. But you've got to have that ability to shift. And that was the thing. So for me, like, as soon as this thing happened, my first thing wasn't, right, woe is me. It's like, right, are all my coaches okay? Bam, 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 bam. They're all okay. Cool. Tick. Done. Then after that, it's like, right, am I okay now? What's my plan?
Yeah.
And then go from there. So that's the biggest thing for me, that shift.
It's quite you're serving people. Do you know what I mean? As well, you've worked really hard on yourself to be a good human and be a happy human, but also to take the pressure off you. Because you know, when you're just all ego based and all selfish based, and it's like, it's me, me. But I feel it does help diminish it when you're like, yeah, but what about everybody else as
so
well?
The thing for me is, like, if like, as a leader, which again, technically I am a leader, like, I don't claim to be a leader, but in that situation, like, my coaches will look to me to be like, right, well, what's going on here? So my thing is, I need to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
I can't afford right now to have a breakdown. I can't afford now to be like, woe is me. This is not fair. Because again, I talk about it all the time, victim mentality.
Yeah.
For me to go into victim mentality at that point, everything falls apart, and my coaches suffer, I suffer, everyone else suffers. So going to victim mentality and the woe is me, that doesn't serve anyone.
No.
So right, this thing's happened. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not just, etc., etc., etc. Victim. All completely valid. No, this has happened. Let's shift. Same with the coronavirus. The same thing happened. As soon as this happened, that less than 24 hours later, I had a manual together to send to all my clients and all the coaches' clients. Here's how to deal with coronavirus, like, to make sure you stay fit and healthy during lockdown. Bam, done. Turn it around 24 hours. Shifting straight away. Bam, action. Again, fear, action.
Yeah.
What dispenses fear? Action. So right there, I'm in this moment, like rubbing the headlights, got two choices. I'm like, right, action, what do I do? Make sure my coaches are okay. Called a meeting, got my coaches together, bam, this is what's going to happen, bam, 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 sorted. Then make sure everything's all steered. Right, do I have a plan? Yes, I have a plan. Right, plan, cool. But how do I action that plan? So before I'd even actually addressed myself, I had to make sure, which is why I was okay for that first Thursday, I had to make sure my coach is okay. Tick. Do I have a plan of action? Tick. Check the plan of action. Tick. Right. Start the plan of action. Tick. Now the ball's rolling in that plan of action. Right. Now let me sort my shit out. Now let me sort this out.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the time for me to deal with that, because I needed to get the ball in motion, because now the ball's in motion. It's happening. Like, things are happening, and I could then spend a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was, working on me.
Yeah.
To figure out what had gone on, to make sure that I was okay. Does this make sense?
Yeah, of course.
But I was aware of this whole situation. The problem is when this is happening, and this is why, again, the Jeanette podcast, going back to it, was so powerful, because that for me was like, wow, like, it really has hit me more than I thought. And I went for a walk with someone, and again, it still realised there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. But for me, it's understanding, like, I couldn't have worked on myself at that moment in time, because then nothing else would have got done. So it's having that awareness of, right, I am not okay. I know that I'm not okay, but right now is not the time to deal with this. Can I still function? Yes. Right. Let's just make sure everyone else is okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Done. Right. Am I okay still? No, really not okay. I'm actually worse now. Okay, cool. But do I have a plan of action? No. Right. Okay. So we need a plan of action. So let's just, again, using this momentum, keep on going. Right. Cool. Right, so right, okay, am I still okay? No, I'm actually even worse than when we first started here. I need to kind of do something now. Right, before I do that, let's just get the ball actually rolling. So I've got this plan of action. Let's just push it and get the momentum going. Momentum's going. Is it taking care of itself? Yes, cool. Right, what the hell's going on here? And then I turn inwards and start doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, at this moment in time, my clients wouldn't have known any different. No one else would have known any different. Because I'm not announcing to the world that I'm not okay. I'm just doing what I know I've got to do. Journaling. Asking myself the right questions, doing all the stuff I talk about, but it just took me an extra week and a half than when I'd have liked to have done it because I had other things that needed to take place first. Does that make sense? It's a massive wake. It's a massive thing for me. Like this has been one of the biggest experiences in my life to actually understand this.
Yeah.
But I had to shift. I had to shift what was going on because if I'd stayed rigid, I'd have snapped.
Yeah.
But it's having that awareness of I'm not okay, and I really was not okay. But there's things I had to do.
Was an element of the transparency you shared though, because I wouldn't have been able to tell, but at some stage you did mention it. We didn't go into the depths and all the field of what was wrong, but you said, I'm having one of the worst weeks I've had.
Yep.
So you were transparent there.
Yep.
Did that help alleviate it though? Because you weren't trying to fake it in essence.
No,
you were being quite honest with where you're at and you were aware of it. You didn't need to go into the field of it, but you were just transparent on this is where I am at.
Well, for me, it's just like, because you know me, so people around me knew. Like my coaches, again, being very transparent with them, but again, didn't go into detail with them.
Yeah.
So it was only yesterday, I was at this football game I went to, again, all my coaches were there, turned around to one of them, and we were talking about it, and I said, just so you know, I really wasn't okay.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have known, but just so you know, I really wasn't okay. Because again, the reason why I said that, and the reason why I said it to you there, was because if I'd come across in a different way, do you know what I mean? If you were like, oh, Dan doesn't seem himself, and then you potentially might, because again, this is me thinking, then maybe you thought you'd done something.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, cause you know me, it's like, just so you know, this kind of gone on. I'm not okay, but I'm kind of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Don't need you to do anything. I'm not asking you to do anything. Like, just so you know, this thing's gone off. Cool, I'm not okay. From coaches, it wasn't that. It was a case of they didn't need to know any of the details. I needed to be that strong leader. Now, everything is fine for them. Then it's just like, yeah, it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But it's okay because I've sorted it out now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, because again, I've got people that lean on. Again, I wasn't doing this by myself. I wasn't a solo warrior. I did have some people I was reaching out to that needed, like, again, it wouldn't be someone like yourself. It's like actual external people, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Like Scarlett's and stuff like that. Just reaching out to people that could give me a bit of
realigning.
Yeah. Just more cases just to have a soundboard.
Yeah,
but they were removed from the situation.
That's what
if
I
that
meant
makes
about
sense.
the radiator.
Yeah, exactly. But again, they were removed from the situation because obviously you were involved in, as in you were involved in it. You would like know too much about the situation, so you would be biased. I didn't need someone biased. I needed someone completely neutral. Like bam, and then that then really helped. So yeah, I feel like I've gone on a massive tangent now. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. That's one of those moments where I've sort of gone off.
Yeah.
We
were talking about things that you'd done to help yourself and alleviate that feeling on the way down and on the way up.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. Like I said, just make sure that everyone else is taken care of. And again, that's obviously not a necessity, but for me, it's like you look at a mother, for example. If a mother's or a father's going through some absolutely turbulent stuff, they've got to make sure the child's okay first. And then they can look after themselves, because if the mother doesn't look after themselves, then the child can't be looked after. It's all the same thing. Like, I have to make sure everything else is okay, and then go on top of that. But again, my business, hopefully no one's noticed in my business that there's been any issues, because again, I've tried to keep everything as I had. Even to the point where I was doing check-ins. So I do my check-ins on a Monday and a Tuesday, and literally I'd be doing like 5 or 6 check-ins, and I have to go lie down for an hour, take a nap for an hour, and again, I take naps to unplug from the world. So this is how I know that I'm not doing okay, because I was taking more naps.
Right,
so I take naps when I'm feeling mentally not okay. So again, in my office, the reason I take so many naps is because I wouldn't be feeling okay. So again, before podcasts, that was different. So I'd take naps before podcasts to make sure I've got my energy on a level.
Strategic.
But other times, the reason why I got that thing from my office was because when I'm not mentally in a good place, I just need to unplug from the world. I just need to not be here.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Just for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it just takes the edge off. And I'm absolutely fine, and I deal with it when I get home. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So literally, we're doing some check-ins, take an hour nap, drag myself to do more check-ins, take an hour nap, drag myself to do more check-ins, do an hour nap. And when I say drag, it's because check-ins are very energy-based.
Yeah.
I'm helping my clients. So again, my client's got an issue, I have to then energy transfer. Did you see me when I public speak? The reason I get so bollocks is energy transfer. So there, I'm doing these check-ins, it's energy, but I had no energy to give. But that's not my client's problem. They pay me to do a job.
Yeah.
And I would address it during when I do my Friday night check-ins and my Friday night lives with them. I did address it when I have some stuff I'm dealing with. But on the check-ins, they don't care how I'm doing.
Yeah.
They pay me to do a job.
Yeah.
So I do the job. So I literally do what I need to do. Right. I'm absolutely spent. Nap for an hour. Come back. Bam, 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 bam. Because again, like it's that energy. It helped me. Like, and again, feeling that purpose. Again, getting up. I'm helping. I'm adding value to these people here. And again, when I'm adding value to them, some of them were going through similar things. So there's me talking, giving advice. It's like, yeah. It's like, right. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm doing this stuff and it's really helping. Yeah. So sometimes like I'm living it and then passing it on as well. So it helps them.
Yeah. Do you know? We can equate it to either the wave or go back to the football table. But do you know when you're in a said position, do you have any anxiety, fear attached when you're in a good position that you like? Do you have this feeling of, but I know it needs to come down? And do you get worried or beat yourself up for that?
No.
No, that's good.
No. I, not consciously.
Yeah.
When I'm having a good time, like I said, I'm very aware this is amazing. And then I'll be like, oh, this won't last. Okay.
That's fine.
It's okay. Like it is what it is. Like I said, once you're at peace.
You're like, I don't want to go to relegation.
No.
But I'm really content with 12th.
No, but again, it's not even that. It's like I'm not even preempting I'm going to fall down from there. Because most time you don't.
Yeah.
You just go to first to third.
Yeah.
And then you're at third, and cool. And then again, you manage to stay most time at third. Maybe you go down to fourth or fifth. But again, it's not a problem.
And first is nice.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the most of the time, you're still up and up again. Again, there's no difference between third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah.
They're just small little things, so you don't really notice them.
Yeah.
So just because you're at first, I'm not then preempting, I'm going to go down to 15th. Because I might just go down to fifth, which is fine. But I'm just like, when you're in that moment, it's just like, it is what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing, unless I could do something catastrophic and get myself into the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Most of the time, it's not me. It's the universe. It's situations, it's circumstances, it's other people. So I can't control that. So what's the point in me stressing and getting anxious and worried and getting like it is what it is. Right now, this moment's amazing.
I love that saying. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So I learned that when I was in America.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I learned that when I was in America. So as a security guard when I was in California.
Could even keep it as it is.
Yeah. This massive black guy, like he looked like Shaq.
Okay.
Yeah, like massive, colossal security guard. And I was walking out of this shop. I said something, I can't remember what it was, and literally wasn't even talking to him. He just went, "It is what it is, player. It is what it is, player." That's literally what he said. And I was just like,
guys.
and literally, I always used to say it as a joke. It is what it is, player. I literally just always say, literally, for my entire life since that moment, I've just used it as well. But then it's only really now when I'm
found you Yoda in a moment.
But actually, when I've understood about the laws of the universe, of like, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't care. Me getting emotionally attached. I thought I was going to fall over then. It's like me getting emotionally attached to the situation. It doesn't change it. And this whole situation. The whole situation just happened now. Like again, for my awareness, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Again, I can play the victim. I can cry. I can moan. I can do this. But the situation is what it is. In that situation, I came out of that with my head held high, and I made an incredibly powerful, strong decision, because it was the right decision to do, to leave that environment and that situation. It is what it is. Would I have wanted to do it? No. But I had no choice. I had to take myself out of that situation, and as a byproduct, my coaches came with me.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And in that, focusing on either I want to be this place or I don't want to be that place, you're going to draw yourself away from doing the isness that is necessary in that moment.
Exactly.
And being on your top of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered a lot in this. How long are we going for? Because you've got the laptop in front of you, so I don't actually know.
We're 50-something minutes
Have
in.
we actually?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I've got no concept of time. Literally, I had no concept when we started. It's like, cause normally it's me with my laptop, so I can keep us on track with this.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel in that environment? Would you know when you're not in control? Quote unquote.
It's honestly, because I'm not from my laptop, I felt like I've been on your podcast.
Yeah.
Because normally when me and you talk, like, actually, no, it's fair. No, recently you've actually been asking me questions, and I've kind of gone off on things. I feel like I've done a lot of talking on this bus today.
It's been good, mate. Yeah. You brought in a good energy to this bus, a lot of knowledge and wisdom.
But I think this is the thing. How I know I've come out the other side of this, and what I mean by that is when I was on BBC Radio last Thursday, I listened back to that because I thought I said some real deep stuff on that. So I listened back, and I did. I was like, okay, I think I'm really starting to turn a corner now. And then some stuff's happened over the last few days, and it's like, no, I'm back now.
Yeah.
Like as you say, I'm back, baby.
That's
how I feel. And then now doing this, I feel back to myself.
That's interesting.
I feel in a very good place right now.
Because I feel I did quite good talking on that episode too. I think we're all on our best
all of us
form.
were, yeah.
But actually, I've not looked at that because I'm in this space that I'm in. Like I said, I met Russell Brand last night, and when I was talking to him, I just didn't feel I was giving my top flow in what I just had a conversation, but I was maybe trying to please or whatever, and I was having this conversation which was quite jarring, and similar conversation I had in the day where I'm usually quite fluid and content and comfortable and confident, I'd all sort of, I just felt icky. And then I focused on that. I've been looking at that like, Mikey, why couldn't you just do Mikey there? But in a very short parameter of time, like that BBC interview, I've not looked at that. I've not gone, yeah, but you held yourself really well here. I've looked at the other thing where you felt all jarred in speech. And that really gets to me. And I think that's a past thing as well, because I didn't have a stutter as a kid, but I found it really hard to articulate how I was feeling. That's why I sort of gravitated to poetry, because it gives me time to sit and process.
So we go then. So now you know what we've got to do.
Right, I know.
You got right about that.
Yeah.
You did, but again, you've come to an answer.
Yeah,
you've literally come to an answer.
Yeah.
So tonight you've got to sit there, and
Right.
just, not even necessarily poetry it, just write it, and then from that writing, then turn it into poetry. Because there's a thing in that.
Yeah.
Like you've met this idol, and there's no reason why you should have been any other reason than you were. But again, you had this cloud, this mist, like you weren't in this full version of you, this flow of yourself.
Opportunity. Do you know where you go, because of the festival and everything as well?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really would like it if he could come and be a part of it, or we can. And there's this pressure then, because it's like, oh, you've got your one shot of talking to someone.
Again, stories.
Like,
stories, innit? The stories we tell ourselves. Again, you built this pressure for no reason.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee we were even going to talk to him.
Yeah.
So you then create this whole thing of like, yeah, but if you did this, and like somehow the whole festival hands Russell Brand, and this one moment, if this doesn't happen, then it's going to fail. It's like, no, like again, catastrophizing it. Like, why?
Yeah.
But again, it's because we weren't in a good headspace.
Exactly.
So again, we turned that negativity. Imagine it.
Mate, I think this has been a good one. It's been a good one, hasn't it?
Mate,
it's been a good episode.
How long have we been here? Like,
interesting one.
How long have we been here? So, like 2.5, 3 hours of podcasting we've done.
We've fully gone to the depths and the realms necessary to go. I've really enjoyed it, man.
Where can people find out more information about you?
We're on the Old Farm Bus or Rhythmical Mike.
Awesome. Love you guys. See you guys next week. Take care.
Big love, guys.